Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back again with another review. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. It is very much appreciated. All right, so this is one I've really been looking forward to. We've got the real versus fake of the Air Jordan 4 Union Off Noir. The real are on the right, fake on the left. Fake are coming in from KICKWHO. This is their GODKILLER batch. So this is a shoe I've always liked, right when they released. I just love the colorway. I love the creativity with it, how it's different. Just a great shoe for me. I know everybody doesn't love it. That's all right. To each their own, right? But went out, got the retails finally, so had to do the review. At first look, there's obviously some differences, but overall, it's a really good rep. I had PK's version before, and I think that's a really good one too. I think the biggest flaw in the PK batch, the one that I had, was the midsole color, but I believe they've fixed that. I'm not 100% positive, but I believe they have. But yeah, let's take a look and jump right in. So I'm gonna put two down so we can get them right by each other. I'll bring these up to kind of go over what they've got in a second. All right, so first thing, as you can see right up against one another, the retail are a little lighter. I mean, they're just lighter than the rep. The rep is just, it's much more black, where the retail or the reps are, yeah, like I said, much more, it's a much darker color. The retail, when you have them in hand, it almost looks like a navy. So that's one of the main things that I saw. First, I think, this is the kind of shoe where you'd have to have them next to each other to tell that. When you're wearing them on foot, I wouldn't be worried about that. I'm definitely going to wear these, maybe keep these on ice for a little bit. These will definitely get some wear, get some use out of them, and I won't even think twice about the color. Going to the side, what a lot of people always worried about was the visibility of the Union LA tag. And you can see on the rep, it has actually, they're almost identical, but you can even see how this is sewn in. It's a little bit off. So, the retail is not always going to be better. And the rep is showing a little more, and I think it's a little cleaner. You can see it's nice. It's stitched in there really nicely. It's even, where the retail, you can see that line where it should be stitched in. Does that bother me? No, because every shoe is going to be a little different. Those little flaws like that don't bother me. It is what it is. Next, the transparency of the wings actually looks really good on the rep. I think that it's a little more difficult to see through. I think the transparency isn't as good, but it's pretty close. And again, it's something that you'd have to see side by side. I mean, it's ever so slightly more hazy. Moving on, the suedes are on the rep is really nice. Along with obviously the retail. Retail feels a little, it's kind of hard, but it feels like a little tougher than the rep. The rep suede is kind of softer. One thing I did, one thing that jumped out to me that I always look at is this cut right here and how close it is to the midsole. And the reps actually did a really good job. The cuts are almost identical if you look at them. I thought that the retail was a little sharper in some of the picks, but once having them in hand, that cut's almost identical. And also the space between this lace holes, I don't know what you call this, winglet. The space between that cut is identical as well. Toe box on the rep it's just like a slightly different cut. It's just a little bigger. You can kind of tell from the front and kind of see what I mean. It's just kind of a little more narrow on the retail than the rep. Moving along, let's look at the tongue. The tongue on the rep comes up slightly, a bit more. You can see how it comes out. It just lifts a little higher. Retail, it comes out but it's just not as much. I mean, this is very slight. This is the difference in that is very slight, but I know with some reps it does come up like really high. This batch is actually pretty good, but just something I wanted to note. Comes up maybe 1/4 of an inch higher, if that. The cages on both, the sizes are great. You can see the rep size and the retail, I mean, it's almost identical. The thing that I really love about this rep so much is like, yes, the color is slightly different. And in the video, this looks darker than in hand. It kind of looks a little closer, but nonetheless, it is darker. But the stuff like the cages, the placement of the Union LA, the cuts are really good on this rep. It would be perfect, in my opinion, if that suede was lighter. The toe box cage, one thing on Rep 4 is they get this wrong a lot. They did not on this. That little cage right there, same size. Stitching all around looks pretty good on both. It's got the same consistency, the same length in the stitch. The mesh, I mean, they're almost identical. They look the same and they're like the same color. You can see that they got the mesh down. Let's take a look at these midsoles. Let me get another shoe. Put it up against here. All right. So before these are supposed to be 2 different colors of the midsole. A lot of people think it's all supposed to be one solid color. In hand, it's ever so slightly different. Now on previous reps, this almost had like a green tint to it and it was very noticeable. Now if you put them up against each other, you can see that they're ever so slightly different, but this is really close. I mean, you got to get up this close to tell that there's a difference. I'm really happy that they got that, fixed, because that was the biggest flaw in my opinion. But overall, I mean, they're really close. Got the air bubble, both are nice and clean, look great. Got that orange insert, really cool. Let's move along. Let's go to the back. Another thing with retail is that heel bump. You can see how it sticks out. Reps, other batches were really flat. This one could still come out a little more, but it's not as bad as some of the early batches. I mean, the heel was extremely flat on early batches, but one thing it would be nice if this just came out a little bit more. You can see how that just bubbles out. The cuts on the back are really good. The heights are great. Let me get it to a level surface. You can see that the cut, this is kind of like, the stitching is not bad. It looks like the suede's just a little like loose right there, like furry. Probably clean that up with some scissors, but the height of the suede is pretty much identical. Also the size of the Nike. This Nike is a little richer of a red, but it's honestly really, you'd have to have them side by side. The blue meshes back here are identical. They nailed that color. Also the sock liner, same. The rep has like a little thicker of a sock liner where this just feels tighter. It's just like a little thicker, a little more cushioned, it feels like. Let's look at the Jumpman tags. So they're pretty close in color. They're almost identical. This is a little tiny bit darker, ever so tiny, but they're really close. And they're pretty clean. Sometimes with the rep hang tags, the paint can be all sloppy, pretty even. So this one just has like this little, you can see like this little like bump right there. The retail doesn't have that. But other than that, I mean, the hang tags are almost identical. Tongue, this, in all the reps that I've got of these, there's always been like black markings on the tongue. I think it's this fabric that they use. And I was like, I wonder if the retail will be like that. The retail or not, there was no markings on them. I don't know, every pair I've had that. But you've just got the Air Jordan tag. They're about the same size. And then the stitching. The stitching on the retail is thicker and a little more vibrant of a yellow. This just looks a little thinner, and then it's not as vibrant. go to the inside. Cuts on the inside, pretty close as well. This comes up a little higher. It's a little closer to that wing hole, lace holder. You can see here there's a little more space. Very small differences though. On the inside of both, they have the same inserts, and then they've got the Jordan Union Jumpman logo. Those are the same. Soles are identical. No difference in the soles. I feel like reps always get the soles right. It's just one of the easier things for them. Let's look just at the last thing. Oops, this is a retail. They both come with yellow laces. They were both the same. Same color, same bag. They were on the shoe exactly the same through the top hole. Same color. Let's take a look at the boxes. This is where the biggest differences I saw. Besides that, the colors were, obviously different. The rep box is smaller. So the rep box is on the left, and then it's a little more of a vibrant yellow. This is kind of more of like a toned down, kind of like a fleshy color. Also, the clarity of Jordan's arms and hands is much clearer in the retail. It's just not as crisp. And then the paper on the inside, again with the retail. Get this box open. Little technical difficulties. It's just a little, the colors are a little brighter in the rep. Retail's just cleaner. The picture's also cleaner. And then it comes with this white paper. The rep, this was completely different. The rep is kind of like see-through, and the retail, you can see it's like a little thicker, much more white. Like this is transparent. Both had the anti-mold stickers, so nothing different there, but a couple differences with the box. All right, so yeah, going through these, I think the reps are, it is a really good rep. Obviously, that color is the biggest thing, but for me, I'm still gonna wear these. Like I said, keep these on ice for a little bit. I just love this shoe. With the rep, I don't got to worry about beating it up, just trashing it. So these will get a lot of use. Again, they are coming in from KICKWHO. Let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, take care. See you next time.